Hello! Thank you for coming back to my channel, all you ghouls, goblins, and mystical beings. So I didn't really have a whole good idea. Just a half one, apparently. I didn't have a good idea of what I wanted to do today. So I figured I would just do something that's a little bit personal to me and that I struggle with and kind of go through. And that is sleep paralysis. So I kind of wanted to talk about what's the difference between sleep paralysis and like an actual haunting or like a spirit or demonic. So let's just get right into it, shall we? Okay, so sleep paralysis is basically when your mind is waking up and your body isn't, and it is frozen in place basically. There's nothing that you can really do or anyone else can really do that can wake you up. It's just kind of something that's gonna, it just passes when it passes, and it can last from seconds or it can be minutes. And it's quite terrifying. I don't have like sleep paralysis frequently. It's not something that I've really had to like suffer with like a lot of people do. Sleep paralysis is something that usually most often happens in adolescence, but it can literally happen to anybody. One of the things that causes sleep paralysis is sleep deprivation, which that's literally my issue all the time. So if you never sleep. But anyway, so there's a lot of like movies and TV shows that kind of depict sleep paralysis and hauntings, and they kind of mesh the two, kind of like The Haunting of Hill House, where what's her face, bent neck lady, ends up being her. Yep, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and it's something I've always kind of wondered about, only because it happens so infrequently for me, but it's in the moment just true fear. Like I don't really know how to explain it to somebody who's never really had to go through it before, but it's absolutely terrifying, and I would wish for nobody to ever have to experience it. And it's hard to rationalize with yourself as you're going through it, and it's just something that it really does make you question what's actually happening. And the things that you see, I can't speak for anybody else, but the things that I see, it really just makes you question everything about your existence. And for me, it's always the same thing that haunts me over and over and over whenever I do experience sleep paralysis. It's always the same being, the same woman, it's always the same. And it makes me question, am I actually sleeping, or is this thing trying to talk to me or give me a warning? But that's the thing. It never feels like it's trying to hurt me or terrify me or bring any sort of harm in any way. And when you do research on sleep paralysis, sleep paralysis in itself physically cannot harm you. So that's where it kind of makes me question, okay, well, this being that visits me has never once really touched me or threatened me in any sort of physical way. It just is there, but it's still terrifying. So in my head, I'm like, is it actually sleep paralysis, or is it like, am I being haunted? Wanted. Whereas with entities, ghosts, beings, spirits, whatever you want to call them, I feel like if there's a spirit that is specifically, again, this is all my own assumptions, my own opinions. That's what my channel is all about. It's just my own thought process. So don't take everything I'm saying as fact. I'm just throwing out what I think in my, okay. Anyway, spirits, whatever you want to call them, I feel like when they visit somebody, or specifically visit you, and it's over and over and over again, I feel like it's a message. And I feel like if they can't get through to you, they're gonna try to reach to you. Like they're gonna touch you, they're gonna whisper to you, they're gonna say something. They're going to try to do something to get your attention, which is the entire reason of why they're bothering you in the first place. So I feel like in my opinion, to understand the difference between sleep paralysis and something that's actually trying to get your attention, not necessarily scare you, even though it can be scary. But I think the biggest difference is that with sleep paralysis, nothing can touch you. There's no physical contact. It's just something that's within your body, and it just can't wake up for some reason. And you're still in this sleep dreamlike state, but you're not, and it's terrifying. And I think the biggest thing that makes either encounter terrifying is because humans naturally fear what we do not understand, and if we can't immediately understand what's going on or what's happening to us or what's happening in our environment, our first response is fear. So the only reason I really say that I believe if a spirit was trying to get your attention is because I've had my own spiritual encounters before. Not many, and every single one of them except one experience, but that would be a whole totally different video. Pretty much every single experience I've ever had, I could find some sort of logic in it, and I could find some sort of reason why it necessarily wouldn't be spiritual. I could easily debunk it. A lot of times I'm like, okay, it's just your imagination. It was XYZ reason why this is happening. So that's why I feel like, for me, in my own opinion, if something was trying to harm you or hurt you or scare the living poop out of you, you would know if it was a spirit or if it was just your own a-hole brain not cooperating, basically. But it is terrifying. It's absolutely, it's terrifying. And sleep paralysis for me versus like nightmares or night terrors, it's not the same. You don't see the same things, and I can't understand why. It's always something that's like, it always appears like a shadow person. And I know so many other people who have gone through sleep paralysis have said the exact same thing, where when they wake up, when their mind is awake but their body isn't, it seems like so many people have the same visions, or they see the same kind of visions, I guess. And it's always some sort of black mass that's just kind of hovering right there. So basically like hovering above them, or it's at the foot of their bed, or something coming out of the closet, but it's always some sort of shadow person, and it just kind of stands there and stares at you. There was one time where I still can't really figure out what was happening, if it was sleep paralysis or if I was just like, I don't know, where in my head, I was like, okay, I'm going through sleep paralysis, like, just relax, like, it can't touch you, it's not going to hurt you, it's whatever. But then it kind of, and it was standing at the foot of my bed, but then it kind of started doing this weird crawl up my bed, and then it kind of, like, got to my waist, and it was just hovering above me. But that's, like right then is when I was just kind of like, okay, I'm awake, and then it was gone. But that had never happened before, and it hasn't happened since I've had any sort of sleep paralysis situations. So again, it's hard for me to say one versus the other, or if they're not coincided, or whatever the case is. But I think it's enough to question, and that's my entire point to my channel, is just question everything. Like, don't take everything at face value and just assume, like, so that's basically it. That's all I really wanted to film for that one. But tell me if you guys have any sort of experiences yourself. What are your opinions on sleep paralysis versus spirits versus hauntings versus whatever. And if you have dealt with sleep paralysis, I want to hear about it. Like, let's talk. I want to compare and see if you guys have the same sort of experiences, because it's terrifying and I don't want to be alone. But anyway, that's it. Thank you guys for coming back to my channel. I'm sorry this was a really weird video and I just kind of rambled on the whole time, but that's just pretty much what my channel has reduced to, is just me going on tired rants. Anyway, if you guys would like to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button, but you totally don't have to, always, as usual, I understand. You guys have a lovely day or lovely evening, and I will see you next week. What is wrong with me? Okay, bye.